Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back and it is time to cast some AlphaStar. It's actually been like a few days since I did any Starcraft commentary because I usually do try and get all my videos done throughout the week as soon as possible, and then I sort of like jump into a hole and cast Starcraft for like a day or two. So I'm excited to check out a few of these AlphaStar games. Some of you guys actually requested that basically instead of just doing like a bunch of cheese games together, I do like a shorter and a longer game together to kind of get a bit of variety in the videos, and that's exactly what this is going to be. So we're going to be doing a shorter game and then a longer one of the AlphaStar games, kind of just to mix and match it up. Now, I can tell how this one's going to be the shorter one here, I think, as this was a very early probe from the master player, but maybe not. Maybe he's not actually going to cheese or anything. When I saw this probe moving out so quick, I was like, oh, he's going to cheese, and oh, well, he is going to cheese. The thing is, he built a gateway, but he hasn't built a forge, so what's this pylon for? That's my question. What is this pylon for that this master player is doing? Like, is this really just throwing a wrench into AlphaStar? It already just canceled the building, started up a cyber core. I'm not sure what that building it canceled was, but we take a look. Yeah, this pylon forces out a quick zealot from AlphaStar, and then nothing else just yet. So kind of a cool move, I guess, to mess the AI up. A lot of probes got pulled onto that pylon, but then it gets killed, so I don't know if that was worth it. The AI kind of overreacted. It actually got itself a little bit supply blocked. All the while, the opposing player is just playing normally here. He himself is not going to get supply blocked, going to have that pylon finishing up. Cybercore done, or I guess he gets supply blocked a little bit. There we go. Chrono boosts out the Adept. And then just, yeah, another gateway is a little bit late as a result of going for that pylon. But he will have out one Adept. And for those of you unaware, Adepts are pretty darn good against Zealots. So we'll see if this Adept is going to meet this Zealot, potentially be able to just kill that Zealot, as Adepts actually just slaughter Zealots one-on-one. Assuming they're microed, alright. Now we take a look, this Adept going to start kiting back the Zealot. We see how much damage the Adept does to that Zealot. It's actually an absurd amount of damage that one Adept does to a Zealot. Like 20 damage or so per shot. Not a lot of units do that much damage straight up to a Zealot. Now, this Adept is actually in trouble. She kills the Zealot, but she's actually getting chased down now by AlphaStar's Adept, so she's got to run. Oh no, she turns, and she, I think, could have escaped, but she actually dies there, so a bit of a mistake from this player. He's trying to get out his own Oracle, while AlphaStar already has its own Oracle on the way. But now this player actually finds himself supply blocked. The Adept actually sneaks into his natural. He throws down a force field to lock that Adept and then catch it. But still a nice bit of damage done by AlphaStar. Another Adept shades on in for AlphaStar. Looks like he gets one probe, two probes. Adepts deal a lot of damage in PvP. Does she get out? That's the big question. Looks like the answer is no. So the Adepts are at least getting killed for the Masters player. But there's actually minimal anti-air here, and there's going to be an Oracle coming across the map, and this could honestly just end the game. And as a matter of fact, I'm starting to realize I think this is what it's going to be. The Oracle's going to fly in, the Adepts messed with the Protoss player enough, the Adepts messed with the Masters player, and you pretty much got to try and warp in a Stalker, but you don't have the minerals, so you don't have anything that counters this Oracle. The Adept is also dealing damage, and this is just a straight-up disaster here for the Masters player, just getting bopped by AlphaStar. All the probes dead. These two Adepts, they may be able to get some damage done, but they will not get enough damage done. And GG, AlphaStar takes match number 1. Alright, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the next match, and I'm excited for this one, as I feel like it's been a while since we have had AlphaStar face off against a Grandmaster Terran. I myself being a little bit biased naturally, as I play Terran for the most part. I also play Protoss quite a bit too, so it's really just when it's a ZVZ. I'm not happy in a game. But honestly, I do like ZVZ because there's like great Zergs out there, and it's just become better and better. Personally, I am one of those sadistic people who enjoy ZVZ the most when it's just like Ling Bane Mutant or Ling Bane Micro in the early game. The late game, like Roach versus Roach stuff that like Raynor and Serral do is cool, but honestly, my favorite part about ZVZ, the Ling Bane Micro. And so, this game we have AlphaStar gonna be playing Zerg, taking on a Grandmaster Terran in what hopefully will be a exciting TVZ. I think a GM player is not going to be a slouch at all. So AlphaStar will have to do something spectacular to take him down. SCV Scout moving out for the Grandmaster player. We see him deciding to do this, and this is honestly, just in my opinion, a necessity of a TVZ. As essentially what this means is that this player, he's going to have a heads up on whether AlphaStar went for an early spawning pool or not. And an early spawning pool is basically quite an aggressive build. And you can essentially have your command center be cancelled. You can have Roach follow-ups. You can have all sorts of bad things happen if you just don't know that a Zerg went for a slightly earlier spawning pool. But the fact that this Terran player SCV scouted is basically gonna say, oh, I don't have to worry about sneaky Lings out on the map against a very early Roach rush. So that essentially means I can move out with my Reaper on my own accord and then just go across to the Zerg's base. And that is why you SCV scout. Whereas if you don't, it's always a gamble moving out with your Reaper. Personally, I prefer the SCV scout because it means you can go right into the reactor and skip this one Marine. However, there is reason to get the Marine to prevent an Overlord just flying in, doing whatever he wants. The Reaper moves on in here for the Grandmaster player, all the while the SCV heads on home for him. So far, he hasn't spotted a third base because AlphaStar hasn't attempted to take one. Looks like AlphaStar is going to try and sneak out a drone. We'll see if that Reaper is able to pick it off. No, it is not. So the third base will get up pretty much bang on 3 minutes for AlphaStar. And now if we pay attention more so to what AlphaStar is doing, we see just very normal Zerg macro. Notably, AlphaStar has pulled out a gas in order to basically just ensure that mineral economy is going as strong as possible. The Reaper jumps on in for the Terran, does get out. A very risky play there. Jumping in with the Reaper like that, however, it stays alive. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I almost spoke too soon. This Terran is playing with fire, microing his Reaper. But yeah, as I was saying, and as the Terran player saw with his Reaper, this is just very normal Zerg macro play. Ling speed was God, a third hatchery on the way. Looks like a creep tumor gets picked off. A nice move there from the Grandmaster. Getting creep tumors is always nice. It really slows down the expanse of the Zerg. We see this Terran player who's running in with his Reaper behind the mineral lines, essentially just checking that there's no sneaky Roach Warren. That's essentially all there could be. Maybe a Baneling nest, as he identified that there was no lair. So the lack of lair says, alright, it can only possibly be one or two of those cheeses. And seeing as how he checked those boxes that it's not, he says, oh, you're macroing up. And now this Terran player is kind of macroing up here. Kind of going to be delaying his macro a little bit, but we do see he's going for a battlecruiser rush. The thing is, this battlecruiser is going to be after the third base, so a very moderate BC rush. This is not the quickest battlecruiser rush that you can do. We saw him go for like the Marine. He did not rush right into a battlecruiser like how I usually play. I just want to get that darn BC out. These Hellions kinda and quite literally playing with fire here, but man, they get surrounded by the Lings. That is a nice pickoff there for AlphaStar, shutting that down. And now we're gonna see how AlphaStar will deal with this battlecruiser rush, as it's a very tricky thing to do to defend versus the BC rush. However, now there is spores in every single base. There's currently 7 queens out on the map. AlphaStar is very in the dark regarding this rush, but it does seem to be more prepared to defend this than in previous matches. In the past, we've seen AlphaStar only play versus a battlecruiser rush once, I want to say. And AlphaStar did not do a good job defending it. However, this game, I feel like it's got the stuff to defend it. The first BC teleports on into the main base, immediately shift clicks on some of those drones. AlphaStar has pulled in 1 queen to help defend versus this. The second queen will come on in, basically ensuring that she can be transfused, that she shouldn't go down. And the BC gets repelled. It gets 4 kills, but that is not that many for such a high expense unit. We'll see if this Overlord at least goes down. Looks like the answer is yes, so that's quite alright for the Terran. All the while, another battlecruiser's on the way. A couple more factories getting up for this Terran player. Just getting his tech going. Poking with his Hellions still. Zerg Ground Carapace is on the way, which is quite cool to see for AlphaStar. Basically going to make those roaches tankier, make the queens tankier. All in all, though, I was wondering if AlphaStar would have just had a fatal flaw against battlecruiser rushes. But after seeing this game, nope, we're seeing that AlphaStar defends versus a battlecruiser rush quite well. All the while, the follow-up for this build for the Grandmaster player is going to be Magfield Accelerator. So playing sort of the more race car mech, the BCs and the Cyclones do tie together nicely, as if the Zerg makes Corruptors to counter the battlecruisers, that basically means the Cyclones can lock on, kill the Corruptors quite easily. Oh, the BC's got to be careful though, you got to run away. These Hellions getting themselves surrounded. Looks like we're going to be seeing the March of the Queens here. AlphaStar is deciding to go for a big attack. This is one of the things that defines its Zerg play. However, attacking into a battlecruiser that's already out is a risky move. This BC is starting to rack up the kills, rack up the damage. Another battlecruiser is finished, waiting at the 3rd base of the Terran player, and it looks like, oh, Corrosive Bile's going down, trying to hit the BC, but they will not hit the BC, so the Zerg has to wait until the 3rd base until the Queens join up with this, pardon me. Tossing down Corrosive Bile's trying to get whatever he can done, but these BCs are already putting out so much damage here. AlphaStar is just bleeding off a ton of units, trying to break through the wall, but not Corrosive Biling down these supply depots. Looks like this one orbital command could go down. The Corrosive Biles have injured one of the BCs, so maybe it'll be easy pickings for the Queens. And if we do take a look, the Roaches have broken through. SCVs have to be repairing these battlecruisers as Corrosive Biles are going down everywhere. But siege tanks are getting set up on the high ground. They're going to start shelling away, and it seems that the Zerg is starting to wear thin. The Queens, though, doing what they can, transfusing Raptors, keeping them alive. The Terran player is trying to just pick off as many of these units, but it looks like AlphaStar might actually win with this big attack. There's the one battlecruiser out still doing whatever it can, but it seems that there's just too much Zerg here. Ling spilling forward. The Terran player moves it further into his base to kite these backs. All the while, though, AlphaStar is just pushing across the map. We see whatever units it can make rallying across the map. Looks like the natural orbital command could be about to get picked off here. Cyclones have managed to repel what remains of the Zerg force in the main. They're now getting lock-ons on the Queens, putting out a lot of damage. AlphaStar with unhuman-like transfuses there on these Queens, just keeping them at max HP, transfusing them non-stop, keeping them alive. The Terran player, though, drastically down on supply. A lot of SCVs have died. All the while, if we take a look at the army supply, it's not awful for the Terran, but this is not a great situation here. Cyclones getting lock-ons on the high ground once again is very nice, injuring some of these Queens, burning through their transfuse. They're going to have to be microed very well. This Terran player can't afford to lose any. He's just getting more and more lock-ons on this Zerg force, locking onto a Raptor cocoon. Looks like he will get it before it finishes up, so that's a nice move there. The 3rd base is still getting mule mined from the Terran, which is very, very important to have that source of income still. Otherwise, he would just not be able to make anything off one base. So AlphaStar thought it killed his 3rd base, I guess, but it actually didn't, as this Terran player was on 4 orbital commands. AlphaStar is afraid to push up this ramp. There's a lot of Cyclones here, so justifiably so, AlphaStar is afraid. But oh, the Terran player goes down the ramp over. That might be a bit of an overcommitment there. The Zerg might just spill forward now. That supply depot does not get raised. This is going to allow the Zerg into the Terran space. Easy peasy. The Cyclones have to kite back as well as they can. They're locking onto the Ravagers. They're getting guaranteed kills, but is there just too much Zerg here? The Cyclones are being controlled quite well by this Grandmaster Terran. He's doing whatever he can, but so many of the Cyclones are in the red. Look at that, 4 red Cyclones. They need to be repaired. They have not been repaired yet, though, and the Terran player is still supply blocked just endlessly, it seems. He's trying to build more supply depots wherever he can, but, oh man, his supply is just falling further and further. It's now 20 army supply to 70, whereas AlphaStar just keeps making units. AlphaStar is going to have to deal with these roaches getting kited, but the Terran player is going to run out of room to kite back. It looks like these roaches are pushing forward still with Lings to come in and support. I think that's going to be it. That's going to be GG. A battle cruiser was counterattacking across the map, I suppose, but in the end, this is just too much. AlphaStar now moving into the main base, going to get the last of the vulnerable SCVs. There's nothing to stop these roaches. The Queens, they've started to go home, but that's GG. AlphaStar wins the 2 maps. Very well done. Cool to see AlphaStar defending versus a battle cruiser play. Doing a great job there. And yeah, well done by AlphaStar. I love to see the match. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, I know I totally forgot to do the whole like thing we usually do, so let's try and say, seeing as how there's 28 kills on this PC, let's go for 28 likes on this video. Of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Make sure you press that bell icon as it gets you notified whenever I put up a new video daily. And I know YouTube sometimes does a horrible job of notifying people, so pressing that bell icon will ensure you get that notification. We are up to like 6 supporters on the channel via the memberships program. Guys getting the perks there and whatnot, so feel free to check those out. Of course, if you're new to the channel, join the Discord, as I also have a replay submission section. I might go through some of those games on the channel at some point. We'll have to wait and see. For now, I'm just kind of building like a cool backlog of games to check out, and also other people in the Discord can check them out too. Here we are, though. Let's take a look. This BC, 28 kills on it, but it was not enough. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.